Moon Magic Super Souls, welcome to today's readings. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are returning to the channel, welcome. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Now, you don't always see me at the start of a set of readings. In fact, very rarely, really. You see me for the moon energy updates, but not for readings. But today is particularly special. In a moment, I'm going to bring up the chart, the astrological chart of a particular configuration, and show you how we are tuning into this particular energy to enhance your manifestations. Now, if you just want to zap straight through to the readings, if you want to just tune in with the cards being drawn, or you've already seen which reading you want to touch base with from the thumbnail, the timestamps are in the description box below, so you can literally just zoom into those, go straight to the readings and not have to listen to me doing this bit if you do not wish to. But it truly is a really interesting collaboration of planetary alignments that we can tune into once a month to enhance the energy. It's like turbocharging your manifestations. And I will do something every single month at the time of this happening. Now, this started or came about because my younger sister Jocelyn, who's a brilliant astrologer, kind of gave me a shout, and we had a conversation about some planetary alignments that took place in eclipse season. And they kind of formed like a kite shape. And as Jocelyn said, when you get that kite shape, it is really auspicious. The energy is really powerful and really positive. And what she sort of explained in that conversation, it's actually in the membership area of YouTube, and it's also on my Patreon site with some readings. She also made, I would say, a video about this, and I'll put the link to her video in the description box below and in that comment, so that you can go and check that out as well if you wish to. But what she sort of highlighted was, when you get an alignment like that, especially in eclipse season, it kind of sows a seed. It's like there's an energetic seed. And every time our beautiful moon passes the base of that kite, we have an opportunity to kind of like lift the kite, to fly the kite, to raise our vibration, and to tune into that alignment. It sort of completes itself. In fact, let me bring that up for you. Here we are. Let me bring up that. Here we go. If I move to one side, you can still see me. So this is the kite shape that we're talking about. And the chart you're looking at here is actually the chart for an eclipse next year in September. But the seeds were sown in the eclipse season that we have just recently had, where this configuration started. And when it started in the eclipse season we've just had, the moon was actually at the top of the kite, just here, and the sun was at the base of the kite. Now, what is going to happen when we get to this eclipse chart next September, the sun and the moon are actually going to be sitting, both of them together, at the base of the kite. So this is like almost like the culmination of a year of potential. And because the seeds were sown in the eclipse season that we have just come through, every time the moon passes the base of the kite here, we can tune into that energy. We can tune into that, into this alignment. Now, whenever we have this kite shape, you can see, if you're new to astrology, let me just say a very little bit about it. I'm not an astrologer. I don't claim to be. I have a basic knowledge. I grew up with my sister Jocelyn, which was a blessing. I can tell you, it really was. So when you look at a chart like this, when you look at the blue lines, these are energy lines between the planets that are flowing very harmoniously. When you get a red line, it's not always as harmonious. Now, in a kite configuration, there's always an opposition here. So in this chart for next year, we've got the sun and the moon here, and they will be sitting opposite Saturn and Neptune, who will be together. Now, this is a very powerful planetary alignment that is taking place next year anyway. I will be doing all sorts of videos through the year about this. But an opposition isn't always harmonious. However, it's the kind of energy that if you harness it, it can give you traction. And I've been saying to people over the last month, the energy's been really intense during the latter part of October, and we're gonna hit some very intense pockets of energy next year. And I've been saying to people, use the energy. Don't let the energy use you. Use the energy. And at this time, literally today, as I'm doing these readings, the moon is passing the base of this kite configuration and utilizing this energy. It's like a portal of potential. So this is the dynamic, this sort of line going up, the red line going up through the center of the kite, that we can sort of channel our energy. So for example, if it's very intense for you, if there's anything intense for you in your life at the moment, you can harness this energy to actually move that forwards. You can, excuse me, you can utilize that energy to give you traction. Because the other configurations, we have 2 sextiles here. Sextiles create new beginnings and openings. They're windows of opportunity. It's not a given that the universe will give you a window of opportunity, but you can either create one or harness the energy and request one. So this is all about new beginnings, like a new opportunity, a new starting point. And this line here is a trine. A trine is a very favourable energy. It really flows, the energy flows. So even though we are looking at a chart for next September, I wanted to show it to you because it shows the kite configuration. Next September is the culmination of a year of harnessing this kite energy. And as I said, every time the moon passes the base of this, which is where those seeds were sown, we can almost like raise our vibration, raise our manifestations to a higher level. You know, if something is wobbling in your world and it's not on track and you're wondering what on earth is going on and you want to ask for assistance, this is a great time to be asking for that assistance. You know, if you want to start something new and you need guidance or advice or anything to come to you at this time, this is a good time to really request this, to tune into readings to assist you and guide you in initiating something. If you need to persevere, if you want to bring something to a completion in order to free your energy up to move something else forwards. This energy is about sort of what I would call lifting this kite. So lifting your manifestations, turbocharging them. So this is the best chart I can show you because it shows it so clearly. But this is what we're sort of aiming for. And, you know, some of our manifestations happen very quickly. You know, we can just, I don't know, wish for something, focus on it, because what we think is what we're creating. You know, we can wish for something, we can focus on it, and it happens magically very quickly. Excuse me. I've been talking far too much, as you can tell by my croaky voice. But actually, some manifestations take a lot longer. You know, they take cycles after, you know, there are cycles of manifestation involved in creating things and bringing things forth. And some things take a long time because they're big things that we are manifesting in our lives. And this is, you know, if there's something very big you want to manifest and you want to build something, literally, month by month, you can invest your focused energy. You can bring your focus back at this time. So I hope that gives you an idea of why today we are doing readings about turbocharging your manifestations. I hope this helps you to kind of tune into the energy. For some people, visually, it really, really helps. For me, right now, I work often with ceremony, you know, because ceremony focuses our intent, it harnesses our intent. And right now I have a kite configuration of stones that are set up within my own sort of medicine wheel in my garden to actually just focus that energy. And I've asked for assistance and guidance in these readings. You know, I always do that. I always ask that the readings will reach the right people and for the higher good of all. Today they are very much, you know, almost like added a little turbocharged element by creating this kite shape, and it will be out in my own circle for the duration of 24 hours around this point, this pivotal portal of energy which we can tune in with. So, beautiful souls, I'm going to shift and draw the cards, shift the camera down, draw the cards for you, and yeah, I look forward to seeing you in the readings. I hope this has been helpful. And don't forget to subscribe, press the little bell icon if you want to make sure you never miss a reading or indeed any of these updates. I will this week be posting the all zodiac sign readings for you and a moon energy update for the coming moon month. And I think I'm going to do the same. I'm going to bring some charts up and show them to you so you can really see what the moon is doing and check in on the energy flow, because it's very much what I talk about. It's the energy of the planetary alignments, how we can utilize this. You know, if it's going to be really intense, we know what's happening. We know it's going to be intense. It's so helpful, especially if something big is going on in your world and you need to know that the energy will ease. You know, when is it moving fast? When do you need to ease off? So that's what the monthly energy updates are about. Beautiful souls, let's shift down and look at the cards. Hello, Moon Magic Super Souls. Welcome to the drawing of the cards. And beautiful souls, if you've missed the bit at the beginning and come straight here, welcome to these readings. We are asking, in many ways, what are you manifesting, and how can your manifestations be turbocharged? Now, I am seeing this card and this one, and it's actually, I can see it right in there. I just need to pull that one out. It's this one. Okay, so these are our 3 cards to guide you in. I also have 3 beautiful crystal hearts today as well. Make sure they're still in camera. I've zoomed right in just for this bit so you can really see the cards. So pile 1, you have the card of Trickster, Challenge. Okay. So this is for pile 1, and you also have the rainbow fluorite heart here as well. Really, really beautiful crystal heart. Just show that to you. Oops, it's still got a little bit of a label on the back. I must try and take that off. Poor little crystal. I didn't realise that that was still there. Okay, well, I will clean it up afterwards. Doesn't need to have its own label. So that's a little bit of a fluorite, rainbow fluorite heart there. So that's pile 1. Pile 2, you have Medicine Shield, Protection. So this is pile 2. And you have the Tiger Eye heart, which is interesting because this is also associated with protection. Okay, and then for pile 3, actually I'm going to move those along. I've zoomed right in. I need to make sure I do actually give myself enough room to lay the cards out for you. Okay, pile 3, we have Sea Creatures, Immersion. This is for pile 3. And you have the beautiful Agate heart. This is this crystal, really lovely crystal. Okay, so those are the 3 piles. I'll be drawing some runes. I know some of you like the runes, but I'm actually going to draw them within the readings today. Beautiful souls, thank you so much for being here. As I said, I've already welcomed you in the first bit, but if you've jumped straight to the cards, welcome to today's readings. Thank you so much if you are returning to the channel, and welcome to anyone new. Very powerful readings today, very powerful energy at this particular time. So beautiful souls, let's move to the readings. Trust your intuition. If you're manifesting in more than one area of your world, if there's more than one focus for your manifestations, and you find yourself being drawn to more than one pile, or indeed if you want to focus on one kind of thing that you're manifesting, you know, see which pile you're drawn to and then focus on a different one, you know, you can use the readings in more than one way. But trust your gut feeling, trust your intuition. Just make sure that it's actually properly focused for you, the camera. I'm going to leave it running for just a few moments longer to give you a little bit more time if you need it. And yeah, we're going to be asking, how can you turbocharge your manifestations? And I will see you in the readings in just a moment. Tons of love. Pile 1, welcome to your reading. Let's throw some runes. Loads coming out for you. And we have Trickster Challenge. How interesting. Beautiful souls, if there is any challenge going on around you, which I'm assuming there probably is, or this wouldn't have shown up for you, or indeed you encounter challenges soon, then this is a really, really good time when the moon passes the base of this kite to really ask for assistance to actually help you to move through and beyond this challenge. Now, it could be that this is in some form of partnership. You are being protected. You're absolutely being protected. And I think you may need to make some very decisive decisions here. Okay. And this is Gibo, although this is the rune of a gift. It's also the rune of partnership. I'm going to also say, even though it may not be feeling it, I think that the challenge is actually a gift. It's going to be bringing you something really, really helpful and really valuable. It may not feel like it, but it is actually going to be bringing you something really helpful, really valuable. You're being protected through this. Yeah, I think this is the rune of Algis. This is the rune of protection, and this is the rune of the spiritual warrior, Tewaz. I do feel that you may... Seeing this figure turning. Yes, has your world been turned upside down by something? Let's get some more information. We have breakthrough. Yes. Ah, okay. And Awaz, the rune of movement. Now, Dagaz, the rune of breakthrough. You may actually need to do a turnaround on something. You know, 180-degree turn, this rune sometimes says. Literally, turn something around, do it differently. And be quite decisive about doing it differently. How interesting. I chose the tarot of opposites today, or I think it's the tarot of opposites. It's either opposites or oppositions, but I think it's the tarot of opposites. I'm really intrigued to see how these come out. Okay, we have the Ace of Swords. Look how decisive this is. Wow. This is very decisive energy. It really is. Very, very decisive. So is Tewaz, the spiritual warrior rune. We've got the card of strength as well. Okay, I feel the one on the top is wanting to come out. Okay, we have the Eight of Pentacles. What's on the base of the pack? I'm seeing this just showing itself, and what's on the base? Okay, we've got Temperance here. Interesting, Temperance is in the sort of the shadow position here. As is the Eight of Pentacles. You need to work through something here. Or something is being worked through. Okay. And either something has literally knocked you, you've either been knocked off balance by something, that's a possibility, your world's been turned upside down, or a direction you thought you were going in. Maybe you thought in a very clear way that you knew exactly where you were going. Maybe you thought you were very much in charge of something, and you knew where you were going, you knew how it was working, and suddenly something has got interrupted here. There is a real purpose to this. It possibly does connect to partnership, to someone, to another person. But it is actually a gift. This is a gift in disguise, because there's something to be learned here. You're going to come out of this stronger and wiser, more balanced. Yeah. Look at this. We have the Hanged Man, and this is now in its sort of upright position. And we've got, I'm actually seeing a sunset rather than a dawn, which is interesting. The sun setting. The sun is setting on something. I do think that something has changed direction for you. You know, something that you thought was going to go one way You were really clear as well, I think. You just thought, this is how it is. You had a very clear perspective, a very clear vision. It may have been something that you yourself were working on. And somehow it's changed. You may have felt very much in charge of it, and the balance of power has changed here, maybe. Let's draw more cards. I've got some super lovely cards to draw, and a real range of cards came through actually today. So we've got a lot of different ones. Visionary. Okay, now the light attributes are capacity to envision what is not yet conceivable to others, willingness to proclaim a vision without regard for personal gain. Okay, right. The shadow attributes are selling insights to the highest bidder, compromising your vision to make it more acceptable. This is very interesting energy. What else do we have? That one, I think, and also this. We have gossip. How interesting. Light attributes awakens consideration for the feelings of others. Light attributes honouring trust. Shadow attributes thrives on the power of passing on private or secret information. Trickster energy, betraying confidences. Okay. Bully. Oh, wow. Gosh, light attributes highlights your tendency to intimidate others, helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. Shadow attribute conceals deep fears behind verbal or physical abuse. Okay, beautiful souls, I need to say that I think there is a genuine direction that something needs to move along here in your world. And I think you really need to hold fast to the higher, this is the kite energy, to the higher vibration of whatever it is you're building. Beautiful souls, there has been a challenge around you. Something has slightly turned your world upside down and knocked you off balance. And it may even actually have kind of brought you to a little bit of a standstill. So just when you really thought you knew where you were going, something has... I think you actually felt almost like you were going from strength to strength. And this could even be in a relationship. Maybe you trusted someone. You know, you thought the relationship was going from strength to strength. And then suddenly you realise maybe this person is operating on a lower vibrational frequency, a lower resonance, that there's gossip going on, there's, talking behind people's backs, maybe creating division, causing difficulties. The learning curve here, interestingly enough, I think is about getting really, really still and seeing it. Excuse me, I do apologise. I've been talking so much that I have quite a croaky voice. The sun is setting on something. So I think you may change your direction. Interestingly enough, I think your original vision and your original vision, your original purpose is going to remain intact. And it will come back, the strength, it will build in momentum, it will gather momentum and it will build. This is about you not buying into any of this stuff and recognizing if it is happening. I mean, you have to have the strength and the courage to make very clear choices and decisions here. You've kind of got to draw the line. It's like if you're working in a team, for example, and then someone in that team throws everything out of balance. Perhaps they have a greater need, or even a greater need to control, with the Ace of Swords. The core vision is really important. It remains intact, but somebody is sort of sabotaging the progress here. Really, really important that you get back on track through holding that higher vision. And it is here you know, there's a purpose, there's a gift in it, because actually if you have to confront something or indeed create some adaptations or make some clear choices, draw some boundaries, you know, there's purpose here, because actually you will be stronger and wiser because of it. And you can be fair. It's really important that you are fair with Temperance showing up here. I kind of feel you need to own your own sovereignty in this, because this is fascinating gossip and bully. It feels very opposite, doesn't it? You know, we've got like a visionary energy, which is really trailblazing. And then we've got some energy here wanting to slow it down, wanting to slow down the progress, wanting to keep it down here. And actually, yeah, wanting to, there's definitely something that's been slowed down, or it hasn't run according to plan. And it is actually that there is trickster energy involved here. You know, I do think there was some intent, which feels really sad, but I think it's true. I think there was intent in this. Whoever or whatever slowed it down or tried to limit the horizons, or to, it's not to diminish it as such, but yeah, just to kind of sabotage it or diminish someone, maybe even to diminish you. With courage, I mean, this is a card in many ways of there's an element of leadership in it, and we've got the king, the castle here, the king of your castle. I'm hearing that song, King of Your Castle. So I do think somebody has tried to diminish somebody's leadership role, maybe even, and this could be your leadership role. Any lower vibrational energy is holding that kite down. Interestingly enough, that configuration actually, I don't know that I can bring it, I don't think I can bring it onto the screen. Let me see if I can just do that for one moment. So I bring that on the screen? Yeah, I can. That's cool. So I brought it up here on the screen. I don't know if you can see my cursor, but when I talked about that opposition, you know, that was... yeah, when I showed you the opposition here, that the red line down the middle, that red line down down the middle, you know, opposition, it can give you traction. You can harness the energy, but you know what? It can also, if somebody is operating in a low vibrational way, where, you know, private conversations, trying to get people on side, you know, rather than working in an open, upfront, you know, kind of way. Because that's what we've also got here in the Hanged Man. You know, this energy can be misused. If people are operating in a lower vibrational way, what they're trying to do is to stop the kite from flying, as opposed to working together to get it off the ground. Let me remove that for you. And I think that's what we've got here. So it's like slowing something down, someone trying to keep the kite on the ground rather than let it fly, trying to tie it down, which is a shame. But it's, you know, there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of division around at the moment, and in a way it's necessary, because it's part of our elevation to higher levels of consciousness. We're having to confront the lower vibrational energy, whether that is within ourselves or whether it is, you know, in others, and be really direct and honest. You know, if you've got someone around you who is kind of trying to get you on side, but you know that their energy isn't about lifting that kite, you know, how do you deal with that? How do you simply move away? You know, I'm seeing a sunset. Do you let something go? How do you try and have a balanced conversation? But what if they're not open to that? You know, maybe you have to just operate independently, and take sovereignty of your own entitlement to walk the higher path. Let's get more information for you. Okay, so we've got Malefics, beware of challenges. How interesting. See, back to challenge again. Seeing this card here, new moon, plant fresh seeds. Okay, beautiful. Well, that's really clear guidance here. You know, that's really clear guidance about handling this situation. It's always difficult, isn't it, when when we face a challenge, how do we actually navigate it? I think the challenge with your challenge, if that makes complete sense, is that somebody is operating in a way that is not either not congruent, what they say isn't really what they're not walking their talk, what they say isn't what they're doing. Or, they are very clearly acting either behind your back or behind somebody else's back. We're not seeing open, honest, transparent conversations here. They're trying to uphold an imbalance of power, actually. That's what I see with Temperance in the reverse position. Their perspective isn't balanced. And when people have what I would call private conversations, rather than about someone, rather than talking directly with that person, it leads to all kinds of projections. And it means that they're not trying to resolve something. It's all very underhanded, I feel. And actually, your message is very much about taking charge of yourself, of your sovereignty, of not being affected by this, and plant fresh seeds. You may literally have to almost move away, actually. You might have to move away because this is a setting sun. You may have to sort of call it a day in order to get yourself back on track. Beware of challenges. As I said, the challenge in your challenge is that something isn't being openly acknowledged. It's like when someone says sorry and you know full well that they don't actually mean it. You can feel it. Or someone says that they're doing something for the benefit of someone, but you know full well it doesn't feel like it. And maybe if they're doing something for the benefit of someone, but they're doing it in a behind the back way, well then it's their agenda, because if it was up front it would be engaged with the person that they're supposedly benefiting. So it would be an open collaboration. Something isn't being navigated here in an honest way, hence the trickster challenging energy. But with breakthrough, I'm wondering if you do need to break away. Actually here you need to break away from something. Let's draw some more cards. This is an interesting little pack. They're quite hard hitting. Someone gave them to me a long time ago. I will try and... I'm not actually sure what the name of them is, and I'll try and find it. If I can't find it, my apologies if they're not listed below. I always list the cards below, but if I don't know what they are, I'm not able to do it. So if you know what they are, please let me know, because I'm not sure. I will see if I can find out. Okay, procrastination. See, I just think this is somebody who's tried to slow something down. And have faith. Okay, this can definitely be turned around. Okay, this situation can be turned around. That's what we're being shown here, which is really lovely. Absolutely lovely. Let's get more cards. How can this situation be turned around? Can we have any more guidance? The Maestro, and you've got the Moon. I love this. This is super nice. The Maestro, you can turn this around, actually. Okay, we've got the moon showing up again. We've now got a full moon, but I mean, look at this new moon, sow fresh seeds. I basically think you don't need to get involved. I'm going to say I think this is one of those scenarios when I think you might actually lead by example. If this is someone who is an integral part of your life and you're not going to draw the line and walk, you're not going to sort of, I don't know, close the door, send love and walk away, because they are an integral part of your life and you wouldn't want to, then I think you simply lead by example. You just choose to do it differently. For some of you, you may be called to illuminate something here, to have that, to have a conversation, actually, to illuminate it, to bring something out of the dark. We've kind of got a dark moon here and then the full moon to illuminate it. Some of you may actually need to go and have a conversation, either with someone, perhaps if there's gossip going on behind someone's back, to bring it out into the open, to make it an honest, open conversation here, to bring things into balance, to create a balanced perspective. But the Maestro is like the maestro of an orchestra, isn't it? Like I'm seeing it like a conductor of an orchestra. So you can, the way you conduct yourself is in itself demonstrating how to do something differently, and you can conduct yourself in an open, honest way, even if other people aren't. That's the big message coming through here as well. And this is going to go back to your manifestations. This is going to turbocharge your manifestations. If you're engaged in this energy, then you're not going to get your kite off the ground. Basically, whatever you are, remember what we think, what we focus on is what we're creating. So if you're dwelling in this energy, there are people around you who are in conflict, and you're entangled in it. You're not going to get your kite off the ground. It's going to affect your manifestations. This is about you really holding that higher vibration, choosing not to buy into anything. This is part of the way in which to handle this conflict and this difficulty, is to either bring it out in the open, to have that honest, open conversation, or to act differently and demonstrate it through your actions. That we're also seeing here. Let's draw some more tarot cards. I'm really enjoying this little Alice in Wonderland pack. They're quite new to me, but they are a really perky little pack. They really are. Okay, look at this. So we have the 3 of pepper pots, or pepper mills, pepper pots I call them. Here's Alice, look. This is lifting the curtain on something, actually. We have the World. Yeah, I think this is lifting the curtain on something. The World is a card of both endings and new beginnings. I want to say don't be anxious. I'm seeing you look back. Okay, we have the Empress. What a wise, old, beautiful sheep we have here. And then we have the Hanged Man again. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is to, and I'm also going to say look behind the scenes. If you're feeling like, I think you know what this challenge is about, and I think you probably know who it is, or what group of people it is, and I think you're needing to draw the line and be really clear-cut and discerning about this. This is more about the details of how you do it. If it's someone you know that you love, then I think, and you want to keep them in your world, then this is about demonstrating by example and really trying to have, potentially for some of you, an open, honest conversation. And if it's not possible, yeah, you may just have to put this behind you. If you've been drawn into something, or your buttons got pressed and you ended up, getting involved in this trickster energy, put it behind you. Everything here is saying put it behind you. Have the wisdom to now invest in moving it forwards. The Hanged Man is a card where we look at something, we face something. So this is about being prepared to face up to something. Literally, whether you're facing up to yourself or you're facing up to someone. If you know you can't change somebody, then facing up to them is sometimes completely pointless, challenging them directly. But in which case that would be facing up to the fact that you need to sort of send love and walk away, draw the line. But this is facing up and stepping up. Own your wisdom. Facing up, seeing something for what it is. Because that's going to turbocharge your manifestations. If you're sitting in the energy of someone who's trying to flatten something, or trying to slow it down, or, trying to make it go on for longer, procrastination. I mean, it's what we do, isn't it? We prolong something. We make it go on for longer than it ought to. And this is really suggesting that you don't let this go on for longer than it ought to. Okay. Temperance showing up again. Can you believe that? We have got Temperance, and we also have, the Hanged Man showing up twice. Now, what is interesting in this card with this Temperance, we've got this beautiful rabbit here. I feel you can pull something out the bag here. I think you're going to be able to, again, the maestro. You know, the maestro is a leader, you know, the leader of an orchestra, literally. You can pull something together. If this is somebody who has sabotaged a team, if there's teamwork with the Eight of Pentacles involved here, my lovelies, yeah, if this is a somebody like I wouldn't exactly say a bad apple, but you know, when someone starts to sort of do the gossip and drama stuff, you'll see a team disintegrate ever so quickly because of the division it causes. I think you can take charge of this just through being your open, authentic self here. Yeah, you can pull something out of the bag here. We have, yeah, you can. You can turn this around completely. You can totally turn this around. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And what do we then have? We have the Six of Pentacles. Okay. Oh, look at this beautiful cake. Okay, I want to say you can have your cake and eat it. You can turn this around. Okay, my beautiful souls. This is very much drawing you into a leadership position. Maestro. Take it away, Maestro. Off you go. I think you can step up into a position of leadership. And I think you can generously share your knowledge, your wisdom, your perspectives. I think just by being your authentic self, you will transform this situation just by being you. Be your authentic self, own your leadership qualities. You have a kite to lift off the ground. You have a vision. You have something that you want to be manifesting. And this energy of slowing something down, slowing you down, slowing your vision down is not worthy. It's not right. It's not in alignment. It's the lower vibration of that line that you saw, that red line running through the kite. It's the lower vibration of that rather than the higher vibration of it. And so it's really important that we are looking here. Yeah, really important that we are looking here at this higher vibrational vision and harnessing the energy. I said there would be a gift in this, in an interesting way. Take it away, Maestro. I think you will you'll be able to move something forwards. And as you do, I think you can be very compassionate. You have a lot to give. You have a lot to share. Look at this gigantic cake that you can share out here. You know, and everyone can have a slice of it. Yeah, there may have been some envy going on here for you as well, actually, with the gossip and bully and somebody slowing something down. There may be some envy where somebody else was envious of your position if you were recently, if you upgraded your position, if you got a promotion, and there's envy and someone in the team is trying to sabotage you, slow things down. Well, actually it's because they have aspirations to leadership. They're clearly not, you know, but this is a lower vibrational form of leadership. It's not a high vibrational form of leadership. The situation is really interesting around you. Let's draw just some final cards. See what else we are shown. You have water. Beautiful, beautiful energy and very much connecting to the moon. We have wind. Gosh, these are the elements coming through here. How interesting. I'm actually seeing, it's this one. I was going to say, which one is it? It's this one. Earth, my gosh, my goodness me, look at this. You have 3 of the elements showing through. That is actually mind-blowing. Water, wind and earth. The only one not here is fire. I think that's relevant here because I think you need to ground your vision, anchor your vision. and kind of move with the wind. You know, water flows. Wind moves things along really fast. Fire can be volatile. There's fire here already. Maybe the fire is being slightly misused. This is about, this is an affirmation for you to get completely back on track, to live by example, to walk your talk. You may need to bring something out into the open, or if you try to and it can't be done, some of you may need to send love and walk away, or to close a door. You know, this is a reading reaching many, so this is about taking charge of your own sovereignty, choosing to put down any of this low vibrational stuff, and indeed any connections with anyone that is operating in this way. I mean, this is simply being shown. And to re-anchor yourself in the higher purpose here. Whatever you are manifesting, the turbocharged boost to your manifestations is to realign yourself with higher purpose. And either navigate this by saying goodbye to it, or navigate, sowing new seeds, or navigate it through bringing it into the open and transforming it. However you look at this, you are taking charge of you within this situation, and you're realigning with higher purpose. Wow, this is a very dynamic reading. Truly, pile one, it really is very dynamic. Wow, but you're going to get success. I mean, look at this. It's beautiful with the six of oysters, which is the Six of Pentacles. I mean, you will get, you're going to get the end result, and you'll have more than enough to share with everybody, including anyone that's tried to limit your horizons along the way. You can be generous. Again, you're demonstrating through example. Demonstrate your compassion. Demonstrate your generosity of spirit. But that doesn't mean you give in to this. There's a very big difference, isn't there, between buying into something or drawing the line and then still being really kind and firm with someone. That's what we're really being shown here. Fascinating reading on such a day of such profound empowerment. And of course, that's the difference, isn't it? Empowerment is power over ourselves. It's never power over others. And this is power over others, whereas you're being called to be in a position where you move to this power over yourself. Wow, is all I can say. Pile one. Wow, this is seriously, it's seriously in alignment with the energy, which is all about helping humanity at large, and therefore us as individuals to rise to and be seated in higher levels of consciousness, and to walk our talk, to live it, to be it. Wow. Amazing. Pile one, thank you for joining me. If this is resonating with you, I hope it's making some sense to you, and I hope it is helpful to you. Tons of love, and I look forward to seeing you for some other readings really, really soon. Pile two, welcome to your reading. You have Medicine Shield, protection. Very interesting, because this is what the tiger eye is also all about. Good luck, protection. How interesting. Your first rune, or the rune that has shown itself first, is Rado, the rune of journey. Sometimes this is about journeying within. I'm wondering with the Medicine Shield as well, and the eagle, rising above something as well, seeing the bigger picture. Let's see what else we have. We have Perth, the rune of initiation. Hagelas, the great awakener. Uruz, the rune of strength. And flow. Okay. You're really at quite a significant turning point. In some part of your world, my beautiful souls, you are being protected through this. I think whatever this transition is for you, pile two, it's big. I think it's a very big transition that you're going through, and you may be feeling not exactly on wobbly ground, but kind of like what's happening next. Let's draw your tarot cards and see what else is happening, because we're asking about, how can you turbocharge your manifestations? Okay, well, this has kind of come out in a, I almost feel like in a either or kind of way. I'm wondering if this is part of, there's an indecision around you. Do you do this or do you do that? I'm actually feeling so strongly the card on the base of the pack. What do we have? We have the Queen of Swords. That's interesting. I'm feeling like, again, maybe this is just indecision. You know, what do you do? I think there's a choice to make in your world at the moment. I'm also actually, interestingly enough, seeing the Two of Pentacles here. It just really, you know, leapt out at me here. What else do we have here? Okay. How very interesting that it's come out in exactly this sort of way as well again. Move that around for you. I think if we move these along, we should be able to get your cards all into view for you. Okay. Maybe this goes here and this sits here. This is possibly a work. With the Pentacles here, the Two of Pentacles, it could be a work issue. And we have the Eight of Pentacles here as well. Could be a work decision you're having to make. Curiously enough, I kind of feel like, even if you're uncertain which way to go, or you're at a point of transition, Five of Pentacles, do you know, this feels really positive. Even if you are uncertain about whether you're making the right decision or not, this is one of those scenarios when the universe has your back. You know, Uruz, the rune of strength. It's just the way it speaks to me. I think it always tells me the universe has my back. So the universe has your back on this transition. It may be a bit disruptive, or there may be some disruption yet to come. Then maybe the move hasn't quite yet happened yet. But you know what? It's moving you away from something that has felt either hard work or a bit of a slog to something that's actually quite liberating. It's like you're going to have freedom of movement somehow, is what I'm seeing here. And yeah, look at this, freedom of movement. We have the Ten of Wands. In the upright position, we see someone walking but carrying a big, heavy burden. And then it's all kind of like disintegrating. This is very much the Great Awakener, the energy of Uranus. Okay. This is going, change is coming. You know, when you get a reading and it's like change is coming, whether you like it or not. But I think you do want it. And this is a change that will be liberating for you. It's going to free you up in some way. It's going to remove some of the burden of responsibility that you're currently carrying. Let's see what else we have in your tarot cards, your oracle cards. Let's draw more. Seeker. Thirst for wisdom and truth, wherever they are. Shadow attribute, inability to commit to a path once found. Okay. I'm seeing this on the base. Mediator. Light attributes, gift for negotiating fairness and strategy in personal and professional life, respect for both sides of an argument. Shadow attribute, negotiating with an ulterior motive or hidden agenda, either personally or professionally. Okay. This one too. King. Okay, yeah, that was definitely coming through that pack. Okay, light attributes. Enlightened, benevolent leadership, benefiting those in your charge. Excessive feelings of entitlement is the shadow attributes. Rulership without restraint. There's going to be a turnaround in your circumstances. I think for some of you it's been a long journey to get to where you are. or certainly something you're certainly trying to, a pathway you're trying to walk has felt like you're having to persist at it. Okay, it's like you want to be, you want something to happen, you want something to either to shift or to change. Indeed, this is a manifestation reading, so something to get your kite off the ground. I think you've possibly been struggling to get it off the ground or wondering which direction the wind will take it in. The change is coming. Maybe you are also trying to negotiate with the Two of Pentacles with another person. Maybe another person or another group of people would like you to do it one way, but you want to do it another way. Or maybe you have been, for some of you, I think you may have been caring for someone, looking after someone, and it's become, or carrying a lot of responsibility. And I think this is about to change. It's kind of, something's going to shift that means the burden is relieved. The burden of this responsibility is relieved for you. And the energy here is lifting this. Now, it may be that you see the bigger picture. For some of you, you literally may well be moving, leaving a situation behind that has been hard work. Journeying, travelling. Let's get more information for you. Enlightened, benevolent leadership. If you've been wanting a promotion, maybe that you're about to get one. Maybe please ask. See, it's actually that one. Okay, we have Capricorn, we have Mercury, and we have the last quarter moon. Okay. Okay. Dive into the details, buckle down and get to work, tie up loose ends. Love it. Love it. This shift, this move, this transition, this point of liberation is coming. I do think you've got to cross the T's and dot the I's. There's been I think for actually a lot of you, there's been something you have been working on. Maybe, excuse me, I do apologise for my croakiness today. I think there's something you've been working on that has taken quite a lot of effort and a long time. There is a bigger picture to it. There's actually, I really do think there is, and I think it's part of your purpose, and I think it's part of your purpose actually. But I do think you've worked really solidly, very focused actually, to bring this forth. But it's been hard work. I think you have actually put your bum on the seat and you've made it happen. I think you're sort of wondering when it's going to come to fruition, when it's going to take off. This is almost like one of those things when every day you get up and you think, oh, I'll finish that list of tasks today and it'll be done. And then by the time you get to the end of the day, several more other things have popped into your inbox that you need to attend, and so the thing never gets finished. Or some other element of it is uncovered that you've got to attend to that as well, and therefore you think, oh, okay, fine, I'll do that. But it just feels like this has been going on. And you also, for some of you, mediator, may have been, literally, I mean, you may have been formulating this. You might have been building something along the way. It's changed, not exactly changed course, but it's like writing a book, and you're really, really clear about the book you're writing, and you think you know the storyline, and you think you know the characters, and then along the way, suddenly another idea pops in, and you think that's such a good sideline, or such a good little bit of backstory. I'll put that in, and it takes you on a whole new direction, and you're being guided, but somehow it elongates the story. And maybe you're thinking, how long can I keep going, until, the story's published and I get some money for it, or there's something here. What you're being shown here, and to turbocharge your manifestations, is literally to really pay attention to the details, cross the T's, dot the I's, tie up loose ends. The liberation, the freedom point is coming. Right now, you are needing to, in a really pragmatic way, attend to the details. And even if it feels like, oh, more details to attend to, even more details to attend to, just attend to them. You're being protected, you're being guided. Whatever you are working on, whatever you're seeking, you're going to get to it. The liberation is coming soon. I mean, this looks such a happy figure. The liberation is coming soon. Your hard work will pay off. Okay? Benevolent leadership. Benefiting, I mean, this is the King card, benefiting people in your charge. You will honestly get to that amazing point, that absolutely incredible and amazing point of freedom, of liberation. It's just that you're not quite there yet. You need to keep going. So your reading in terms of your turbocharged manifestations is saying to you, leaning into the energy of turbocharging things today. And, for the next month until the moon crosses this point again, and we can do more readings again at that point. Really turbocharging your intent and your focus to keep going, to persevere. Whatever this is you're manifesting, because the liberation point is coming. Let's draw some more cards for you and see what else we're shown. Let me ask a bit more for pile 2. So letting go, that's an interesting card. Patience. Okay. I'm actually feeling the one on the base of the pack here for you. Self-sabotage. Okay. Goodness me. Wow, let's get to the bottom of this. Yeah, are you not paying attention to the details? Are you feeling like, when we get into that mindset where it's like, oh, this is never going to happen, it's never going to come to fruition, or some element of you is getting in the way, because you're being called to persevere with something. It's going to take time. It will take a bit longer maybe than you thought it would. The irony is it's more about mindset here, I think, with the Queen of Swords here. It's how you approach it. If you approach something and you feel like, oh man, this is such hard work, or if you approach this and think, wow, I'm really loving this, this is amazing, I've achieved this, the energy is so different. One energy, one mindset can make it feel like, it's like you could approach the same thing. Let's say you could take the same scenario, the same task, and two people could go off and do exactly the same task. And one of them could be doing it with a seriously glass half full attitude, loving every minute, can't believe I've got to do this, I am going to pay attention to the details, I'm going to do this so well that it's going to blow everybody's minds. Or you could take it, another person, a second person might take it with an attitude of, oh man, not another day of this, and this is such hard work, I'm never going to get to the end of it. And it's that energy of intent and attitude that will either speed up the manifestations and the results or slow it down. What we think is what we create. You do need to pay attention to the details and really knuckle down here, literally buckle down and get to work. The self-sabotage, this is about letting go of any agitation, irritation about the fact that it's not happening either as you want it or fast enough, and loving it for the sake of loving it. Rado, the rune of journey, sometimes speaks about removing inner obstacles to our success. You've got to let go of anything within your mindset here that is sabotaging your progress. That's a very big message here on this day of flying your kite. To get your kite off the ground, it's not just about, it's really interesting, it's not just about, you know, assembling your kite and setting it up, let's say metaphorically, putting it together, although it is that too. But, you know, if you, let's use that example, if you assemble a kite and you're in a real hurry and you pull it all together and you tie on the rope, but you haven't tied it on very well because you were a bit shipshod at it or whatever, and then you send your kite off, it's either not going to take off because it'll all sort of crumple because you haven't assembled it well, or it'll fly and the string will break because the knot comes undone, you know. So somehow the success of the flight of your kite, the success of your manifestations is about attending to the details really well now. So if you take your time over assembling your kite and you tie your string on really, really well, you don't panic that the wind won't be there or the circumstances won't be right, and then just let it go. Literally let it go. Send it forth into the universe with trust. You know, the kite's going to lift and you know, the liberation will come. So this is really about mindset here. That's what I think we're being shown here. Mindset, attitude, and the way, and taking that attitude to what you do as well. We have awakening and meditation. Beautiful cards. Very interesting again. We've got, because awakening is, look at the crow and look at the sparkle in that crow's eyes. Crows see between the worlds. This is, this crow is a seer. Look at its eyes lit up. Meditation. Finding the next step, beautiful souls, may well come rather than you, through you. I mean, if you suddenly feel you kind of don't know what the next step is, and you're trying to work really hard at this, and you're trying to cross the T's and dot the I's, but you're not actually sure what the next step is, just meditate, get still. Back to protection, medicine shield. What I see here with these cards and the medicine shield is that you are, whatever it is that you are manifesting, it's part of your calling and your destiny, and it's meant to be. You're being guided, you're being protected. What this also means is that even if you are worrying about how long it's taking, perhaps, you'll be given exactly what you need along the way to make this okay. Your task is to be diligent and to love it for the sake of doing it, in this sort of space of trust, okay? Owning your own kingship, your own pathway. Let's see what else we are shown. Very interesting. We have the Two of Hats, which is the Two of Cups. She looks really grumpy. We've got a king here with somebody who's looking dead grumpy. Okay. Don't know if you can see that. She seriously looks grumpy. Okay, what's that about? We then have the Page of Hats. Okay. And we have the Fool. Okay. I wonder if some of you are under pressure to either succeed with something or to do it in somebody else's way or something like that. This is coming through. If you're being put under pressure to, like you're at work, for example, and somebody wants the results and they want them now. It's like, I want this now, you know, and you're like, well, you know, I can't deliver it now because actually the job needs doing properly. You know, I need to do the job properly, so stop putting me under pressure. Interesting, got another king, King of Flamingos, which is the King of Swords. So this is a really clear, direct card. And then we have the Four of Hats, Four of Cups. Yeah, I think you might have to also be saying in your, whatever this is for you, this is a unique individual reading for each of you, although it's a general reading. You might be having to say to somebody, look, have patience. Stop putting me under pressure. I need to do this, you know, kind of like my way. You know, you've got king, sovereignty here. You've got the king of flamingos being really clear. I think you need to not, I think you're feeling under pressure to deliver, actually. I think somebody wants you to deliver something. And actually, yeah, it could be like a boss trying to hurry you. This is the deadline. This is when we want this by. And I wanted this and I want that. And, you know, you must give me what I need and da-da-da-da-da. And you're like, well, it needs to be done properly. You know, I'm trying to pay attention to the details. And the pressure isn't helpful, actually, here. Yeah, there's definitely people around you who want this, actually. And you need to take your time. Pay attention to the details and make sure you do it properly. You will be in a position, you will be in a position to deliver. I think you may also receive some help maybe as well with the Four of Hats here. May we have some clarification on the Four of Hats. Whatever pile 2 are manifesting, I can see that this needs to sort of, you know, to turbocharge it. We need to remove pressure. We need to remove any attitude that is trying to push you into making it happen more quickly. Any fears that you won't be provided for along the way. What about this Four of Hats? We then have the Nine of Peppermills. Okay, that's the Nine of Wands. And we have the 10 of Peppermills, which is the 10 of Wands, which is what we have here as well, showing up twice. Okay. I think with the 9 of Wands and the 10, I think the 9 can indicate a challenge, but this is looking, this guy's looking confident. This little frog is looking confident. I think you might need to delegate, actually. Beautiful souls, there'll be some delegation coming in order to help you to manifest this forwards. That's what I'm seeing for some of you, depending on what this is you're bringing forth. We have the Empress. We have the Page of Flamingos, so that's the Page of Swords. I am seeing you having to sort of really, it's like take ownership of the progress. Not be burdened by other people's expectations. I think some of what you're doing is going to be what you need to do, interestingly enough. Yeah, not being burdened by other people. The end result is coming. You know, we're seeing that. What else can we be shown here? Maybe I'll get more clarification again about the 9 and the 10 here. The Curse and the Drum. How very interesting. We have Water and the Owl. Okay, let's put those here. Oops, let's just straighten our little cards out. Yes, look at this knitting, this lovely wise sheep knitting something. Okay, so I think with the Curse and the Drum, and the Owl and the Water too, this is coming back to this letting go of any self-sabotaging patterns of behaviour or thinking patterns, because this is about kind of limiting beliefs, even ancestral kind of inheritances of what we can or can't do. The drum is really, this is like walking to the beat of your own drum. The drum is really powerful. And can you see the imagery here? We've got this kind of face of an eagle here. I don't know if you can see that coming through here. And look what we have here, the medicine shield protection. I think you are, I said there was pressure from other people, a bit like having a boss who is literally saying to you, You know, you've got to deliver this and this is how we want it. And you're thinking there's a much better way. I feel that you are needing to walk to the beat of your own drum. Get really, really focused and not be swayed by the viewpoints of other people actually around you. You do need to knuckle down, you do need to crack on with the details, but this is actually a time. I sort of said delegate. You know, when I saw these cards, I thought, you know, do you need to delegate? There's a lot of stuff you're carrying. Interestingly enough, I actually, funnily enough, think you can only delegate to people who are resonating with you. You can't delegate to people who aren't. There's something you are building and bringing forth that is very much led by you. It is like being the leader of a team, isn't it? You know, having a project, and it's become, or it is very much your baby, really. It's your project. You're the king here. You're the leader. I think it's a biggie to take on. So your kite is a big kite to fly. And it may be that you touch base with these readings every month when the moon passes the base of the kite. It may be that you touch base with these readings and you use this time to get that turbocharge of energy and that advice and that support. Now you are on track, but it is taking time. Part of the challenge here is about navigating with people who want it to be done differently, or they are applying pressure on you for it to emerge more quickly, or indeed for it to emerge differently to the way you think it should emerge. This is your baby. Got the Fool here. This is your project. This is your story, your book. You have the wisdom, you have the vision. The key here as well, though, it's very, very interesting. If you think of anyone that is not exactly limiting your horizons, but I think that's part of the testing energy. You know, if you think of that image of the kite, where, you know, you've got that big red line down the middle of it. Let me bring that up. I did bring it up in pile 1, actually. I think I can show it to you on the screen. Yeah, there you go. You've got that big red line running through the middle. Now, this can be you know, a discordant energy, that big red line. It's an opposition. You could face opposition. But if you think that when you face opposition, it's actually to give you traction, this is actually about creating determination and kind of almost helping you to see really, really clearly that this is your vision. You need to take an ownership of it. You are being guided and protected. This is not dispersing your energy, actually. And also not letting any self-sabotaging elements of behaviour. Let me remove that kite again. But you can see that direct line in the middle. This is about you owning your vision and going for it. Knuckling down, buckling down, getting to the work, getting to it, delve into the details. Tie up loose ends, cross the T's, dot the I's every step of the way. Really persevere at this. And don't be swayed by the opinions or the pressures of others to make it happen more quickly. You need to do this your way. This is what we're really seeing. Now, this is going to build in strength. And the universe has your back. Whatever you're bringing forth, it's meant to be brought forth. It's a really, really, really important and positive and amazing thing. I think in the end, it's going to bring you a great deal of happiness and a great deal of abundance. And with all the king energy, I think you'll be respected for what you have done, for what you have achieved. To turbocharge this, because it's a big project, to turbocharge this manifestation, this is about removing any self-doubt, any self-sabotage, and being wholly focused on your dream, your vision, and know that you will be guided here. You'll be guided and you'll be protected every step of the way. This is your vision, your dream, and it, you know, even though other people are saying, well, hang on a minute, I think you should do it this way, or I want this, you know, it's like, you know, or off with their heads. We've got here this little queen here, you know, she wants it her way. And actually, and it does feel like there's a lot of mouths to feed here. Could even be lots of different opinions. Well, why don't you do it this way? Or I'd like it to be done that way. Or, oh, how about this? What about me? I feel like there's almost like a lot of hungry mouths to feed here. And actually, and then that could make you think, oh, maybe my vision isn't right. This is too much. I'm overloaded. I think I'm going to give up. I'll go and get another job because this is just too much. Don't give up. Keep going. But this is about actually bringing yourself back, knowing that the universe supports you, and start to get ready to fly your kite. But fly your kite little by little. Assemble it really well, because it's going to take off big time with the Empress. It's going to build and gather momentum like water flow we have here as well. When something is really flowing, my goodness me, it moves fast. What you are doing will flow and it will move faster. But it will move faster because you are not worrying about it. And it will move faster because you actually remove the pressure and the intervention of other people. Actually, this is something like writing your book and sharing your ideas, and then sitting down with your friends in the evening and saying, oh, this is what I was doing today, and they're like, oh, I wouldn't have done it that way, or do you think this character could do that, or do something different? And by the time you've finished that conversation, all of your energy and focus has gone. Actually, don't discuss it. You just say, do you know what, I had a really good day. It was really focused. It was amazing. I'm so pleased with what I've achieved. How was your day? And from that, you retain your focus. Love it for what it is, not as a hard slog, but love it for what it is. And this will then move forwards, and the kite will start to lift off the ground almost of its own accord. A bit like, very interesting, I'm actually seeing it's being shown like a balloon. I stumbled across, two of my children and myself were out walking, and we stumbled across, literally, it was a field that had a whole row of the gigantic hot air balloons all taking off. And they were all, when we saw it from a distance, because we were about to head home from our walk, we thought it was like a marquee or something like that going up. We could see a dome shape. And we thought, oh, is there something going on there? We'll just pop over and have a quick look. And when we got there, it was a field of hot air balloons. And we were, there were no fences and barricades. We could be really, really close and watch them all go up. And each one was inflated. And they didn't all go off completely simultaneously because, in case they bumped into each other, because they literally were side by side. The balloons were buffeting each other. But they lined up, basically. And as one would take off and then another would take off, it was utterly beautiful. It was stunning. And I feel like that's the energy that you have here. It's like something is going to grow, and it's like your ducks will be in a row, or your balloons will be in a row, and that this is going to take off big time. Okay? But it will take off big time because you are focused on your vision. You have the vision, you have the wisdom, and it doesn't mean you can't listen to others, but you can't be burdened by the opinions of others. And it's about you navigating your boundaries really carefully, being patient with yourself and with people, but also letting go of any self-doubt and just keeping on track. This is going to get your kite. I mean, your kite is like those balloons. It's going to rise. That's what took me to that. It's like, when you're holding onto a kite on a really windy day and the wind is just catching it, like these balloons, they had 4 people holding them down, one of them down because it just wanted to go. I guess they'd filled it up with so much hot air. It was good to go. And when they did let go, it just went, it moved up. I'm not joking. So fast. It was untrue. Some of the others were slightly slower, but it was like, wow, I can't believe it's going that fast. And that's what I'm seeing. It's like you're going to have trouble holding this down when it takes off. Absolutely. Your kite is going to fly and it's going to seriously soar. And you need to make sure the strings that you have tied onto it are really thoroughly and strongly there, because you're going to need to hold on to this. It's going to take off. It's amazing. So beautiful souls, this is what I am seeing for whatever it is you are manifesting. This is a lot of clear guidance, actually. So, your own inner doubts, but don't let them be fed by other people, because I do feel you are under pressure, or you're putting yourself under pressure to please others when you really don't have to. This is your bag. Doesn't matter what other people think. This is about you focusing on what is right for you. Pile 2, this is your reading. Thank you so much for joining me. Do touch base for other readings, of course, if you wish to. But, if you want to make sure you don't miss any readings as I upload them, if you subscribe and press the little bell icon, you should get notification of them. You can always check the homepage. I'll be doing these readings every month to lift that kite, to assist with your manifestations. And this week I will also be doing an energy update, and all zodiac sign readings are going up, so there's a ton of stuff happening here, so keep a lookout for all of those. Tons of love. Pile 2. Pile 3, welcome to your reading, beautiful souls. So you have sea creatures, immersion. Lots of runes coming out for you. Really interesting energy around your reading, Pile 3. So you have Kano, the rune of openings. You have movement. Awaz. You have fertility, which I think is Ingas, if I remember rightly. And you have Sewello, the rune of wholeness. You then have Rado, the rune of journey. And Manas, the rune of the self. Okay. How interesting. Okay, immerse yourself in something. Seek creatures. Some of you may genuinely be about to embark on a journey. Now, that could be a personal journey, inwardly, or it could literally be a physical journey. In your manifestations, because we're asking about turbocharging your manifestations at this incredible pivotal point of this portal of energy, I'm kind of hearing a message, anything is possible. I think you're setting forth on something, my beautiful souls. Now, as I said, it could be an inner journey, it could be literally a travelling journey. It's very personal to you, actually, with Manas and Sewello. But you've been given an opening, actually. There's an opening, I think, around you at the moment. And I kind of feel it's an opening that you are going to be taking. So an opening is being provided for you to set you forth on some sort of a journey. And let's draw cards for you, see what else we're shown. Seeing this and this and this. Let's look at these first. We have the Five of Pentacles, and then we have Temperance. This is the tarot of opposites, so, or oppositions. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's tarot of opposites. We have King of Cups in the upright position, and we have Eight of Wands. How interesting. How very, very interesting is that? Right. Look at you bursting through a fence here. I feel like you're slightly swinging like a yo-yo here, your energy. What is that about? Let's put that like that. That feels better. I felt like I needed to bring you into balance here. There is an opening in front of you. It's actually a really good opening, okay? Because it's going to remove you from a place where you're feeling, because I think you're feeling a bit out in the cold here with Five of Pentacles. Now there's genuinely a window of opportunity right in front of you. I'm wondering if you're feeling like you've made a mistake or something broke. You didn't achieve something. Something didn't go to plan. Whatever it was, ironically enough, it's created an opening for you, and that's part of this energy of lifting your kite off the ground, flying your kite. This is an opening, it's a window of opportunity for you. So if you, for example, if you'd applied, this is a random thing, but if you'd applied for a university or something and you didn't get your first choice, it's actually because there's a better one for you. If something got broken, within that scenario, you can, keep wanting to do the Kano sign. There is an opening in this position. Let's get more information. So there's something, a new phase of something, a new journey for you. We have companion. It's rather lovely. Oh, this card on the base is coming through as well. And athlete. How interesting. Look at this person leaping in the upright position. This figure is leaping easily over this hurdle, and yet they've sort of crashed through it here. Okay. So we have companion, loyalty, tenacity, and unselfishness. Those are the light attributes. Shadow attributes, betrayal by misusing confidences, and loss of personal identity. Okay. Athlete, dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps, development of personal willpower and strength of spirit. Shadow attributes, misuse of athletic ability for selfish ends, false sense of invulnerability and entitlement. Okay. I'm wondering if some of you are feeling like you've been demoted almost, like because something, or it's not going to feel right entirely, but just because something didn't go right, like not getting your first choice, or maybe you fell out with some people and ended up feeling like you were out in the cold or something. Ironically, there is an opportunity here, and it's about stepping up. So there's either something else, or there's an opportunity within the connections that you have. What else are we shown here? May we be gifted any more cards for my pile 3? Mediator. A gift for negotiating fairness and strategy. We also have, in personal and professional life, respect for both sides of an argument. Shadow attribute, negotiating with an ulterior motive or hidden agenda, either personally or professionally. Let's draw more cards here for you as well. This is very interesting. 10th house, keep it professional. I'm just going to put these down. Let's just look at these cards and runes where we are now. Whatever, either a mistake was made or something broke down, keep it professional, keep it clean and clear. Take a real pro attitude to this, because there's a learning curve here. With mediator and companion, when like let's say, for example, you ended up feeling like you were pushed out in the cold from a group or something like that. The shadow sides of these cards would suggest that it's, and keep it professional is very much about doing that, rather than trying to, go off and get people on side, sort of behind people's backs. It's very much about stepping up, holding a balanced perspective here. If you're caught between two people who've got different viewpoints, if something broke down, keep a really balanced perspective here. View it from both sides. What else do we have here? So the very interesting energy. Palace, fight the good fight. Yeah, this is holding the high vibration. Take the high road. Is what I want to say. Take the high road, and get lost in the lavender haze. Neptune. Interestingly enough, Neptune can be a card of illusion, actually, as well. We think about Neptune plays a key role, actually, in that kite that we were just seeing, because Neptune is at the top of that kite. And so now Neptune is a card of both ultimate spiritual, the ultimate card of spiritual awakening, but it also can be, the lower vibration of it is delusion. It's having the wall pulled over your eyes, or pulling the wall over your own eyes. It's delusion. It's not seeing clearly. It's confusion. Higher vibration is that spiritual pathway, which is what Sewello is about as well. Whatever is happening, so in your manifestations, whatever's happening in terms of something you are trying to manifest, getting your kite off the ground, it may be that it's to do with people as well, companion, community, or finding or being a winner in something. Like if you are in a, let's say you are competing, let's say you are training to be an athlete, and this is your, this is the big kite that you're trying to manifest. You want to be a world-leading athlete. How amazing, way to go. But it's a very competitive environment, isn't it? Very competitive. So how do you remain, kind of friends with everybody, with your competitors, or do you, when they win, do you feel like you've been left out in the cold, or are you finding that if you won, somebody else behaves as though they've been left out in the cold? There's something here about holding the higher ground. Actually, there really is here. There is an opening, and the opening is the higher ground. It's like immerse yourself in the journey, rather than the achievement of the end goal. Rather than being a winner, even though you can be a winner, of course you can be a winner, but rather than being a winner, and only being okay if so only being okay if something goes, if you win, or something goes the way you want it to, or rather than being in that sort of like what I would call lower vibrational athlete mode, be in the higher vibrational athlete mode, where it's like, wow, everyone's a winner. And if you win, it's because you are so sort of, you're just totally there with your colleagues, your trainers and all that. You're just there. It's just, you're owning you validate and own everyone. You just love it. There's something here around holding that higher ground. Now, I'm not quite sure where that sits in your manifestations, because I don't suppose all of you wish to be an Olympic medalist, though some of you might, in which case, this is the way to achieve it. Don't be despondent if you see anything that happens as learning to do something better. That's what I'm seeing here. Don't get lost in the haze of confusion or disillusionment, or indeed, here we go, it's a full sense of invulnerability and entitlement. That don't get into any kind of form of illusion here. Really hold that higher ground. This is a reading that's very much about the higher good as well. That pathway of the higher good, that spiritual pathway. Let's draw some more cards as well for my lovely pile threes. How can we assist them in their manifesting? Unleash your creativity. Fab. Yeah. Procrastination. That's interesting. I'm actually hearing the card on the top here again. And love. Love is the answer. I know that sounds very cliche, but it's really true. Pile 3, love is the answer. Love and ownership of your potential. Are you actually also stepping down rather than stepping up? Procrastination. You have all this potential. Have you self-sabotaged it? Have you tried to slow things down? Because perhaps for fear of competition. I'm really reminded of that amazing inauguration speech of Nelson Mandela's, which was actually written by Marianne Williamson, and in her book called A Return to Love. And she speaks of, or he spoke of, I mean, it was the most powerful speech. It's so incredible. And he said, we're not afraid of being powerless. We're afraid of being powerful. And that's what stops us from speaking our truth. It's what stops us from engaging in open conversations. We are afraid of being powerful. We're not afraid of being powerless. And he said, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Who are you not to be someone who steps up and owns their gifts? And that's not about winning. I'm digressing from the speech, but that's not about winning. It's about being in it to be the most amazing version of you that you can be. Something's happened to cause you to step away from the best version of you, or to stop believing in the best version of you. And this is about being the best version of you, stepping up. It's like taking that gold medal athlete attitude out there to you. Immerse yourself. Whatever you want to do, whatever your manifestation, immerse yourself in manifesting it. Don't hold yourself back. Don't compete, I want to say. Even if it's a really competitive environment for some of you that you're moving into. You could be moving into a corporate competitive environment, just be your authentic self. Don't be fearful. Just immerse yourself in what you want to do. Don't be fearful of competition because, or of not winning or of not getting to the top. Just immerse yourself in love. This is pure. It's very pure and simple. Your reading is lovely. Immerse yourself in love and immerse yourself in what you want to create and unleash your creativity, but not in this sort of competitive way that makes you feel as though you've either got to win or you've got to, or you're, because I almost feel this feels like you're a winner or a loser, and that's not what the consciousness of humanity is about. Or it's not the new consciousness. If you think about that kite that we looked at, I may bring it back on the screen. I've done this in every reading. I've brought it back onto the screen. Let me do that. What this kite formation actually represents is the rising of the consciousness of humanity. Okay, so your humanity is, whether we like it or not, actually being pushed to rise in consciousness. And this is essential for the well-being of the planet and for the well-being of not just of us, but every species on our earth, and indeed I would venture to say every species in the entire universe. It's like we are needing to step up. And this is happening to us individually as well as collectively. And the essence of this growth is about self-responsibility in love. Self-responsibility through love rather than through power, because we've been living in power-dominated scenarios. And although, what we can see is a shift in power, I think, from a few people being, at the top of a power system to a greater empowerment for the people, it doesn't mean that sort of like a small group of people sort of then take over the power of the person that was at the top. That's because it's still power orientated. Actually, the higher consciousness is that everyone recognizes their own personal power, but they also recognize that they have an impact on everybody else. So they acknowledge self-responsibility whilst also, and take full responsibility for their actions, whilst also acknowledging and recognizing everybody else's individual autonomy and power of choice, and also recognizing that we each have a connection. We're interconnected. We move that away, but this is what that kite represents. It's a moving to higher levels of consciousness, and I think that's what your opening here is. It's moving you to a higher level of consciousness. There's an opportunity around you to shift from that sort of I have to win to be any good. Whatever lessons you learned as a little person that said, unless I'm at the top, I'm not winning. Unless I'm, I've got to do this or I'm not, those were not balanced perspectives. So this is very much about moving into that higher level of consciousness, living through love, living through absolute self-responsibility, being the best version of you. How interesting, we have defiance. Yeah, because this competitiveness, it could be that you're feeling quite defiant because you feel somebody has tried to exert power over you, actually. We have heartache. Oh, I'm so sorry that this is feeling like this. Resolve. Here we go. Super. How lovely. So what we've got here, my beautiful souls, is I'm seeing a kickback against something here. Perhaps because perhaps something didn't go well. Maybe somebody you feel someone was critical of you. But everything that's taken place is about you stepping up. So it's almost as if you are the kite. Actually, that's what I'm being shown here. With the other readings, it was very much about getting the kite off the ground. I think you are the kite in this reading. It's about you getting yourself off the ground. And understanding, as I said, some of you, I think, have really been put in a position as a little person, as a child, where it was never okay to make a mistake. And therefore, as a consequence, it's like it's really hard for you to trip up and to be okay about it. Actually, it's fine to trip up. What matters when we trip up is that we own it. It's as simple as that. But sometimes we can get really defensive. If we fall over and we get very defensive, rather than saying, oh man, I fell over, back to sort of that athlete attitude, are you critical? If you're jumping over hurdles and you fall through one, are you critical of yourself for that? Or is it perfectly okay? It's like, oops, crash through that hurdle. Never mind. Here we go. I've learned from it. There's something going on here that's where it's not okay. You don't feel it's okay for you to get it wrong. It may be that you don't. Sometimes that travels through where we don't feel it's okay for others to get it wrong either, or however it is. But there's some competitiveness that needs to be moved through. But it is an opening for you to be that kite. For you to be that higher consciousness, for you to be more than this basic earthly bound situation. You can absolutely climb to the top here if you wish. It's holding that. It's fighting the good fight. It's absolutely holding that higher vibration, which is what this kite is all about. Yeah, you are the kite. That's what I'm being shown here in this instance, my lovely pile 3. And of course, your manifestations are going to flourish if you lift, because your vibration is going to be so high. And if you are walking in that pathway of the higher good, which includes being okay for you and others to make mistakes, you're going to fly. And your manifestations in every area of your life are going to it's just going to bubble into abundance. Okay, so we have Page of Oysters. We have the 8 of Hats. I love this determination. Look at this. Look at the way he's just striding forwards. You can overcome this so easily. We've got the 9 of Flamingos. And then we've got the 8 of Peppermills as well. How interesting. Okay, so in a traditional tarot pack, oysters are pentacles, hats are cups, these are swords, flamingos are swords, and peppermills are wands. The 8 of Wands is actually quite a fast card. Okay, I want to say that I think that there's something around you that has felt competitive or difficult, but in all honesty, I think you may have blown it out of proportion a little bit, with the 9 of Swords. This often indicates that we're too much in our head. We're worrying about it. And with this, I see this peppermill it's like Alice. We have this dog here. Here we have this dog, and Alice has got this tiny peppermill. And this dog looks very big, and the peppermills look big, and Alice looks tiny. I just feel that the proportions are all different here. Somehow the proportions of things are all different. And I think in your head you may be more worried about something. Hence your procrastination as well. You may be more worried about success. Well, own your own power. Listen to Nelson Mandela. Step into your creativity. Be the best version of you. Who are you not to step up and be amazing? Why shouldn't you be amazing? Why shouldn't you hold that light? Why shouldn't you fight the good fight? Be the most amazing version of you. And that's about love. It's not about competitiveness, it's about love. Look at you striding forwards here. I think you can really move forwards. I think the only thing stopping you from stepping through this opening is your head here. The procrastination, the deliberation. This is really saying, go forth. Go forth and multiply, but go forth. Here we have the 8 of flamingos. How interesting. But I'm actually seeing you look back at something here. And then we have the 3 of hats. How lovely. 3 of cups. And then we have the 9. Look at you knocking on the door. The 9 of pentacles here. The 9 of oysters. Yeah. Okay, lovely. Step up. This is not about looking back. This is about looking forwards. There is a doorway that's open for you here. All you have to do is effectively knock on the door and walk through it. There's an opportunity, an opening, a window of opportunity for you. And all you actually have to do is seize it. Whatever is getting in your way, try and remove it from your head. Whatever inner beliefs you have grown up with. Whatever inner beliefs say you can't do it, or it's not okay to make a mistake, or you'll fail, or you won't be good enough, or the stuff that does your head in. Your reading is saying, look, just put all that stuff down, center yourself in love, and step up into the very best version of you. Because interesting enough, you may be feeling, again, maybe something's happened with some friends or some colleagues or something, and you're feeling sort of out in the cold, when actually, they would welcome you with open arms. I'm not seeing anything here that would not be welcoming. Everything that's not okay feels as if it's what's stuck in your head, and those inner beliefs that where you really, really feel that you can get lost in that lavender haze. Well, that lavender haze can be fabulously gorgeous, or it can be, full of illusion. So this is a bit of a get out of your own way, actually, to be quite honest with you. Let's resolve the situation in your head. There is definitely an opening here for you. Yeah, if you've been offered a journey, to travel or something, and you're really debating, like a job abroad or anything that would involve, it's a personal journey, whether it's physical or otherwise, and you're really procrastinating. Overcome this. This is an opportunity. If you're fearful it'll all go wrong because stuff has gone wrong in the past, well, I don't think so. It certainly doesn't look it to me anyway. This is a point of you becoming the kite. And of course, the moment you become the kite, look at the Andean cross. This is a beautiful card because it's got the same energy as the kite, this card. As soon as you become the kite, every manifestation in your world is going to shift, because what you think is what you create. Your thoughts, your actions, your deeds, your words, all of these things are what you are creating. This is what you're bringing back to you. So actually, the moment you shift this self-doubt, this, any of this stuff that we've been talking about in the reading, then your whole world, your whole landscape will shift. And I love you have the hummingbird. This is a card of joy. And then you have water. I think there may be some emotional release as well, actually, once you, possibly even relief for some of you, actually, once you step through that door, you give yourself permission to own your fullest potential, the best best version of you, the moment you go for it, embracing the learning of whatever this is, I just think, water gathers momentum. Water is a powerful force, isn't it? When you think of how water over years has the capacity to erode rocks. You think of the shape of the rocks on a seashore that have over time been eroded by the sea and the waves. And they are beautiful. They're all smooth. You can smooth the rough edges, I'm hearing. It's the same with water that runs down through great big valleys, and you can look even in. I saw a beautiful photo the other day actually of, it was the somewhere in Arizona. The beautiful rocks in the desert, and it's a desert, but once upon a time there was water there, and that water had flowed through those rocks, and the rocks were just so smooth and like beautiful sculptures. You can. This is whatever's happened. It's a learning experience that is here to shape you, and it's here to shape you into the most beautiful form of you. And as that water flows, there may be some releasing to do here. As that water flows and gathers momentum, you are being supported in becoming the biggest and best and most amazing version of you, and everything can be smooth. Any rough edges can be smoothed, and what I'm hearing is all will be well. It is time for you to become the kite and for you to fly, and give yourself permission to do so. You deserve to be the best version of you and not be held back or put down by anything in your head, or those stories that you were told that stopped you from immersing yourself in the fullest space of potential that you can be. And this will affect all of your manifestations. Pile 3, this is your reading. If this is resonating with you and you want to touch base every month with the readings that I do for the base of the kite, you do subscribe, press the little bell icon, and we can connect in together. That will be amazing. I do post other readings here on YouTube weekly, several every week, and shorts as well. And what I'm also going to be doing this week is posting all zodiac sign readings, and I'll be doing a moon energy update to look at the energy that's coming. So do check out the readings and the other videos here if that is working for you. Beautiful souls. Pile 3, tons of love. I'm sending you the biggest hug ever. This is serious soul work, so way to go, and big thumbs up to from me to you, because this is what will raise the collective consciousness of humanity. It's when we do the individual work at this level. So I am mega impressed, and you guys are awesome. Tons of love.